Hello, everyone. I'm super excited for today. We have another podcast episode, and with us today is Clarissa Gannon. She is a certified coach, plant based bodybuilder, and founder of EmpowerHER Wellness, which is a holistic coaching company helping women in perimenopause and beyond to reclaim their health, their strength, and their confidence without restrictive dieting or burnout. After years of trial and error with traditional fitness, nutrition advice, she discovered a better way, science backed, sustainable approach that blends strength training, hormone support, and plant based eating. Today, she empowers women to nourish their bodies from the inside out and create lasting transformations physically, mentally, and emotionally. Whether she's coaching clients, speaking at an event, or preparing for her next competition, her mission is simple to show women that they don't have to choose between living well and living strong. When she's not lifting, coaching, or sharing real talk on social media, you'll find her spending time with her kids, in the gym, experimenting in the kitchen, or dreaming up her next big project. So, Clarissa, thank you for being with us today. I'm excited for this conversation and I'm excited to hear about your story. So, tell us what brought you here.
Oh, thank you for having me, Maisie. I'm really looking forward to being on your podcast this afternoon. So, what brought me to this space? Well, if you go back to the beginning, it was the fact that I needed to be stronger. Um, I was a mom of four, ranging like newborn to 8 years old. And I was in a marriage that was not the best. In fact, it was absolutely terrible. And we were in a rather horrible financial situation. And one of us needed a better paying job. Considering I was the only one working, I was hoping that my husband at that time would be inclined to be the one and step up and get a job, but he was not. And that just, it's what it was. So I put in for a federal law enforcement job, and I was coming from a very small town. Our town was only like 3,000 people. I'd waited tables since I was 18, and that's how I was providing for my family. And so I put in for the federal law enforcement job. And at that time, I had a baby that was like 11 months old. I was 108 pounds. I'd never been athletic in my life. And I knew that if I was going to, have a chance at getting this job, I had to be stronger. Like I had to be physically strong. So I was like 32, I think. And I stepped into the only gym that we had in our town. It was very small. The lady at the front desk, she was like, "Here's an anatomy book." And I was like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. I had no idea what to do, right? Um, so I, I read the books. I got some tips from the lady at the front desk. The owner of the gym was actually incredibly helpful in showing me what to do. And I was able to build my strength. I started running, which I'd never done in my life, and was able to pass all the physical requirements to get the job. Yes. So I got the job. The things with my partner continued getting worse, and eventually came to the part where I left. I left the state. I left my kids. I pursued this job, and then my mother brought the children to me in another state, and the marriage was ended and all of that. But I don't think I would have ever been strong enough to leave that situation if I hadn't built my body up in the gym. Like it literally changed the way that I perceived things. It gave me strength, like physical strength and physical confidence, which just kind of trickled over into having an increase in mental strength and mental confidence. And I was, even though it was like the scariest thing I'd done in the world, I walked away. And I hadn't been able to walk away, for the 5 years that I knew that I should. I just couldn't do it. And so I did have enough strength to leave. And so the kids came here and we started over. And I was like, the mental impact that the gym had on me, I was like, women have to know this. Like, it is so freaking sad that women do not understand that going to the gym is a truly empowering thing that you can do to build up your body. Like, it is not the place that we go to punish ourselves for what we freaking ate. It's where we go to improve ourselves. And so that, transferred over into becoming a personal trainer. And then I was like, well, these women aren't getting good results, so this has got to be the food. So we dove into the food. And now I'm like, 8 nutrition certifications deep and a PhD in nutrition because that is the missing piece. Yes, the weights are empowering, but if we're not right with our nutrition, we're not going to see the physical progress. So that's pretty condensed on how I got to where I am.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. So my journey started the same too. I was the personal trainer, and then it was like, okay, but like there's more to it than this. It can't just be
Yes,
this. And then it
yes,
was like, I was like you, like all the certifications, going the holistic route, like what is going on in the body?
right.
Loved it.
Yeah.
So tell me this, how did you get into the perimenopause and the hormone support of what you do with your clients? What had you fall
Oh,
down that rabbit hole?
that is again based on my own experience. So I was like 35, I think 34, 35. And well, I'd had night sweats since I was 27. Like it just freaking ridiculous. And my doctor at that time was just like, well, you're having an estrogen storm. I'm like, this isn't normal. I mean, it's like a freaking lake in my bed every night. It was so disgusting. Um, but then it compounded. Like I was so fatigued. Had cleaned up my diet. Like, so this was in the beginning of gaining the nutrition knowledge. So I was like, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing with nutrition. My sleep was okay at that time, so I didn't think it was sleep related, but my periods were like ridiculously heavy, and they were not ever on the same schedule that they had been prior to my last pregnancy. So I found a new doctor, and I was like, can we find out what's going on? And she gives me a prescription for Prozac and says, this is what you need. This is just how things are going to be now. And I walked out. I was like, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
And so it took me, I think, literally like 5 years to find a holistic, like an integrative health doctor that listened to me. And lo and behold, she tested my hormones, and I had no testosterone, none. It didn't even read. And so I was like, well, I am not the only one dealing with this crap. Like, I mean, think of my age group. There's millions of women that are in this same situation. So that's where the functional medicine came in. And I was like, I have to learn more so that I can help them, because obviously they're not getting supported from their doctor. And even with the PhD, I still can't prescribe, but we've gotten linked with a clinic that can. And so
Yes.
women can get the help, like they can get someone to listen to them and someone to hear them. And yes, this sucks. And maybe we don't always need medication because we can do a lot with food, but let's start somewhere. And yes, you're seen, and yes, you're
Yeah. Do you find that this is common for a lot of people? Like, especially if they're stress-induced menopause, do
heard.
you
Mhm.
tell me a little bit more? Do you find that that's common?
I think that it is. I think there's several factors that are playing into the earlier menopause that we're seeing. And one of them has to do with birth control. That is a big factor. And then, yes, stress, environmental toxins, the hormones that are in our foods is definitely impacting what women's hormones do. And everybody just looks over it.
Yeah. Do you think it's so you say birth control. Do you think it's
Mhm.
some women who get started on birth control so early?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's fix your acne. Let's regulate your period. Let's not mess with it, because if you nourish your body,
Yeah.
the hormones will level out. And going through puberty, there is going to be fluctuation, but a lot of that goes back to what they're nourishing their body.
Right. Absolutely. And nutrition matters all the way across the board.
Oh yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So tell me a little bit more about the process that you walk your clients through whenever they come to work with you, especially for those who are like, "Oh my God, I've been struggling hormonally. Nobody's listening to me.
Mhm.
What do I need to do?"
Yes. So when a client comes in like that, and they're in that space, we will walk through the restorative program. And that is, you come in, we have a specific 2-week protocol we go through. I'm actually doing it right now because my cortisol is all over the place. But we do that, and that helps your body. Number one, it floods your body with nutrients. So you're getting in phytonutrients and micronutrients and everything that your body needs to support liver function and to produce hormones. So we support those for 2 weeks. While we're doing that, we will get you in contact with Vitality, the clinic we work with that will run your lab. So we order a complete lab panel of everything your doctor won't test. So we're testing estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA. We're testing cortisol. We're testing thyroid, T3, T4, TSH, TPO. Your doctors won't test that. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've had two clients that got their doctors to test all of that. Two. And
Yeah.
I don't even know how many women I've coached at this point.
Yeah.
So it's not like your odds of giving this list of labs to your doctor and having him test those is not very good. So we test all of that. And then we also run a gut test. And this tells us like how the different pathways in your gut are functioning, if you have virus and bacteria. And then it lets us know the foods that we want to avoid for a little while and the foods that are going to help build up whatever those less functioning pathways in the gut need. So
Very nice.
we have all this data, and then it's like, okay, so you've walked through our 2-week protocol. We have the data now. So let's really dial in on the nutrition. Let's support your cortisol however it needs to be supported. Let's get you these nourishing foods to continue to support your liver and to continue to support your hormones. And then we talk about the exercise piece. Like, you know, if you come in and you're working out, then we can continue that. If you're brand new to working out, it's what is reasonable for you, because we don't ever want to have someone do, don't come in and tell me you want to do 5 days a week when you've never worked out. Like, just
Yeah.
it's not a good plan.
And sometimes it can cause your cortisol levels to spike even more.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you're coming in and you're already like shaky on that path.
Yeah, and we do similar work. So whenever a client comes in and they're already like, "Oh, well, I work out all the time. I do CrossFit. I do this. I do that." And it's like, let's lower that.
Yes.
Or impact. They're like, "No, I have to sweat." So, which
Oh.
we're gonna dig into some of those myths. I know me and you were both like, "What?" But when it comes to perimenopause, so let's go over first and foremost, what are some symptoms that people need to look for perimenopause versus menopause? What's the difference?
Right. Honestly, with perimenopause and menopause, symptoms are similar. I mean, if you're in menopause and you've never, dug into nutrition or supplements or HRT to help you with symptoms, a lot of the symptoms will stay the same, like for the rest of your life. And that just sucks. I can't even imagine. But with perimenopause, there's so many symptoms. I mean, obviously the big ones that everybody always cites is the night sweats and the hot flashes, and those do suck. The night sweats are horrible. Um, but those are the two biggest ones. We also see, increases in constipation. We see sudden acid reflux. We see, gas and bloating, skin itches or rashes. Insomnia is freaking huge. Anxiety, depression, sudden mood changes. Well, I guess that's another pretty popular one. But those things, heart palpitations,
Yeah.
hair loss, all of these things, bladder infections, and UTIs, like, can all go back to your hormones. And it's crazy because women are just given anxiety medications, they're giving sleeping pills, and nothing is ever addressed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think also there's a lot of doctors, even like you said earlier, when you're asking, I have a lady that I was talking to recently, she's been asking her doctor, test for these things. They will not.
Yeah, they won't. Yeah,
They're like,
they
that's
really
not the
won't.
problem. We know what we're doing. And it's like,
I don't
no,
I don't think so. They know
I
they
don't
know
think
how
they're
to treat the symptom. They don't know how to treat
right.
the cause.
Well, not only that, they're not promoting diet and exercise. That's just a
No.
that's like, "Oh, yeah, do that if," but that's not
Right.
gonna be the answer. This is the answer, this pill that we're trying to give
This
you.
pill. Yes.
So so when it comes to menopause and some of those symptoms, what do you notice a lot in testosterone or even in their hormone panels? What do
Mhm.
you notice are some of the things that, data says, maybe it's progesterone is too low, maybe your testosterone is too low. Can we go over some of the hormones, what their functions are, and like what you guys are noticing in your tests?
Yeah. That's a really good question. So when we see and usually I'm right. Every once in a while we get labs back and I'm like, whoa, I was really off. But usually when we see like low energy and decreased sex drive, problems building muscle, those are usually lack of testosterone. Because we can jack protein up, as high as we can, and we're still not going to see good results building muscle if we don't have testosterone. But honestly, that could be an estrogen problem too. And just because we're going through menopause or perimenopause does not mean that we automatically need estrogen. Some women don't. What I see that women need most when we get those labs done is they need progesterone and they need testosterone. Progesterone is our calming hormone. So when we are low in that, we see um, increases in like being emotional, like having too much crying and too much of like that kind of response to things that aren't really big deal. We also see anxiety and we see depression and we see insomnia or waking up in the middle of the night and not going back to sleep. That's also insomnia. But those are like some of the biggest key indicators that, hey, you probably don't have any progesterone, which is going to be really true if you have been under a lot of stress, because cortisol and progesterone are made from the same core hormone. So if your body is busy pumping out cortisol, it's not going to make progesterone. And if you look at this age group, I think we're all pretty stressed. Like um,
Well,
we
not at
take
all.
on yeah, we take on too much. We have poor boundaries. We think we have to do all the things. We have kids we're still taking care of, but then a lot of us have parents we have to take care of, and we get put on the back burner with all of this stress that is, eating up our progesterone. So then we feel like crap, but we don't know why, and then we get mad at ourselves because we feel like crap. When really, we'd feel better if we just had some progesterone and set some boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and also got some sleep.
yeah, yeah. That would help tremendously.
Yeah, I know, whenever I went through started the process of my divorce, and I was bodybuilding. So,
Mhm.
you and I are on the same page, like, we're like, "Go big or go home," right?
Yeah,
So, I
yeah,
was still in
absolutely.
prep and everything and getting ready for, off season and all that, and I went into stress-induced menopause. So all these things that you went through and that you're talking about, I'm like,
Mhm,
check, 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 same. So, and I ended up having to do some hormone replacement therapy.
mhm,
So my testosterone was not even readable. And I told her that when I went in, I was like, I guarantee you, you're going to do labs and you're going to be like, Mace, you have like no testosterone. My progesterone was so low. The insomnia was just insane.
mhm.
It was just like, I'd be hot one minute, cold the next,
Yeah.
emotionally and physically. So I
Mhm,
totally understand as far as hormones and where those things are. What do you notice? Because I know you do mindset work also in your programs as
mhm.
well,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you notice some of those shifts that you do with your ladies? How do you notice that that shifts their hormones as well?
Um, I think that's a little harder, just because the mindset piece is harder.
Yeah.
Like, we are having to undo like, decades of poor self-programming. But I would say that the biggest mind piece work that we do is, again, that boundary work, and then also, self-love. Because if we don't, oh my gosh, we're never going to hate our body into something that we love.
Yes.
And this time of life is super challenging. There's so much going on hormonally, but there's so much externally. But then that's going to link back to boundaries, because we cannot continue to take on the load that we are currently taking on. So we work a lot inside of like what is inside the circle of our control, and gradually learning to let go of these other things that aren't, which has a very positive impact on stress, which is going to, bleed over. Like, hey, maybe you're not making a lot of progesterone, but maybe your body still can make some if we can decrease some of the cortisol. And that's done, simply by setting better boundaries and having some grace with yourself.
Yeah, I love that. I find on the trauma healing side of things, sometimes where, menopause symptoms come up and they're grave, right? When they're in that grave state, it is a lack of love. It's
Hmm.
also lack of self-worth, which is where boundaries come into play.
Yep.
But that lack of self-love and that body image, and it's like not loving yourself through the changes, the transitions, the phases of life. And it's like,
Right.
why, I find a lot of my ladies, well, I want to be like I was. I want to be like I was. So we're living in the past. How were you during that time frame? You were probably stressed the frick out,
Right. Yes.
and you're probably hating yourself in this moment. You're just wanting the body change. But your body couldn't accept those patterns and changes without saying, "Hey, I need to love myself better." And that love of self-care, nurturing it, that mothering yourself tends to be
Hmm.
a piece that gets lost as well. So I think,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
What drove
absolutely.
you to doing bodybuilding?
It just seemed like a next step. Like, I lifted for, oh my gosh, I don't know, I didn't even do my first show until 2016. So for quite a while. Um, and I guess it just seemed like the next thing to do. Like I really wanted to do it to see what it was about. And so I was already pretty lean. So I only dieted for like 5 weeks. And we drove up to Colorado and I spent those whole 5 weeks. I did take posing lessons with a local coach, and I got it. We went up to Colorado, and I placed fifth. So, and I mean, there was like 7 people, so I was like, well, hey, this is kind of fun,
Yeah.
and so I just started doing it. But through prep is like everybody's like, oh my god, you look amazing, but prep is such a stress on your body. It is so hard for it. And I have had a couple bad preps where like I didn't listen to my cortisol and didn't end up taking the package I wanted to. But all in all, it's been, a pretty good experience.
I love that. Yeah, I came on to the scene 2015 and
Okay.
I was in love with figure. Ever since the time
Yeah.
they told me, "You're not big enough for figure." And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't.
No, I never, and there's nothing wrong with bikini, but everybody was like, you should drop down. And I was like, I don't want to. I love the poses.
Yeah.
I love the physique. I love all the things. Just condition
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get that. I really am a very firm supporter of you need to do the category that calls to you. Like I could never do bikini. I can't walk like that. I can't act like that. That is not me.
Can't
And so
stand
if you can't go on stage with confidence and ease, you're not going to place well anyhow. So what's the point?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. What category did you or what category were
Oh,
you?
I do figure. I've only ever done figure because I couldn't do bikini. Sometimes I think it would be fun to do physique, but I don't know, man. My joints are little old.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah. HRT is. I'm sure it helps, but yeah, I don't. I think I've spent so much time probably under eating in my adult life that I don't know that everything will ever be optimal, and it's kind of too late for that.
No, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Optimal, what is that? We can get close.
Right. Yes. And I'm perfectly happy with being close.
Yeah, yeah. Are you prepping for a show? You said you were prepping
I
for.
was, yeah. I've pulled back again just because of cortisol. Like I'm actually listening to my body this time. So yeah, I have no desire to grind myself down to what I've done in the past, because it's not worth it. I mean, there's shows next year. If I have to take the rest of this season off, whatever, it'll be okay.
Yeah, that's one thing my coach used to tell me. We're not pushing through. There will always be shows.
Yes,
Yes, okay. Okay.
right.
I'm like, but the stage needs me.
Yeah, the stage will be there.
Stage will be there. Well, tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about your services, your program, what you offer.
Mhm.
I would love to bring you back again. This was fabulous, and I'd love to dive a little
Oh,
bit
good.
deeper into your services, what you
Mhm.
do, how we can refer people to you as well. But tell us a little bit more about your program and then, more of what you want to offer for people today and how they can come
Mhm.
find you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, our product is more holistic than many of the coaches out there. I've kind of walked you through the beginning steps of the restorative program, which is our key offer. We have a drop down where we don't do the testing, but I'm super hesitant to put people in there. Unless you're coming to me and you have that data. Do you have recent labs? Do you have a recent stress test? Like if so, then sure, let's do the drop down. But if you don't, then please let's work through the foundational pieces, because the restorative program really is the foundation. It's giving you the nutrients your body needs, it's calming down stress, it's getting that data so we know which direction to push your nutrition and to push your training, and then really it's dialing it in over a long enough period to where your body responds in a positive manner. So once we've got that foundation restored, if the goal is still weight loss, as I see this all the time too, is we'll walk through the restorative piece and the scale goes down even though we're not technically dieting, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do that, and if there's still additional weight once we've restored foundational health, then we can move into a dieting phase. But like the dieting phase has to be earned, because most women are coming in chronically dieting for the last 30 years, and
Yeah.
your body's not going to respond in a positive manner. So if we can restore functional health, then we can earn the right to diet. We can move through a diet and diet on high calories, like maybe you did back in high school, and leave you in a much better place overall with your health so that you can maintain.
Yeah. So let me ask you this because I know a lot of ladies that come to me as well, they're chronically under eating.
Oh God, I
And
know.
they're like, no, I eat too much. I'm like, no, sis, you
Oh, you know,
don't.
I eat that much for breakfast.
So I know you do more plant-based
Yes.
sources. Now, everyone's biggest hot topic question is, how do I get my protein in? What would you respond that way?
It's not hard. It just takes being aware of what you're eating, which because we have clients that aren't plant based too, and they're like 120 grams of protein is so hard. I'm like, how? Like, I don't get it. Like, it's just not paying attention to what you're eating. But plant-based foods, top protein sources are things like, I love the textured pea protein. There's no soy, it's only pea protein, so it's easily digestible. It has, tons of amino acids in it. And then the fava bean tofu is another one of my favorites. Like, it's whatever they've done to it to prepare it has removed any carbohydrates and fat. So it's like being able to have chicken breast, but it's plant based. So those are two of my favorite things. And between those two, you can get like 60, 100 grams of protein in a day. Holy smokes. That's not hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. We get a lot of people who are like, that's their struggle. I can't get my
Yeah.
protein in. But
Yeah.
again, what diet culture says is these are your sources. You know,
Right.
this is it. You got chicken, you got beef, you got pork, you got whatever. And they're trying to also
Right.
keep in a lot of their day-to-day spaghetti foods, which there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with. We always find recipes that are going to be higher in protein and higher
Hmm.
in, more nutrient dense meals that are going to
Yeah.
give you more of the results that you're looking for. So I love that. All right. Well, tell us what you got for us today, what kind of freebie you got, and tell us where we can find you.
We've got a guide to what to eat, like how to nourish your body inside of perimenopause. So we can send that over for your listeners. And as far as finding us, everything on social media is under my name, Clarissa Gannon. And check out the website. I guess that's probably the best place to go because it has all the links on it. Is herwellnessonline.com.
Yeah, we're going to put that in the description. So
Okay.
we'll have all those resources out there for you guys, find all of her social channels and be able to connect with her. But we will definitely have you on again. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciated it. And it also gives me so many ideas of more podcasts that we could chit chat
Oh,
on.
good. Good, good.
Especially for bodybuilder listeners, I've been
Mhm.
getting a good bit of those here lately. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah, I know you've got some great, because you're a vegan bodybuilder, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
sure am.
And I have a lot of people that are in connection with that as well. So they're looking for those resources. So that might be another topic we
Oh,
could also
nice. Okay.
discuss. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys, check out the description. Check out her website. She's amazing. I've enjoyed working with her and working alongside her and getting connected. So, yeah, we will catch you guys on the flip side.